going to just go over some housekeeping stuff and some general info that I talk about every time just because there's some new folks here. And then we're going to do some quick introductions. We'll go around the room and and have everybody kind of introduce themselves for just maybe a minute or so, keep it short. And then we'll dive into kind of our core discussion for the day, which is I don't know, we're going to talk about a little bit of accessibility commands, some device commands. I want to talk about vocabulary a little bit and some ways we could dive into that more. I want to talk about some Apple Intelligence and some visual intelligence stuff that I'm not sure if you guys are utilizing. And then diving into the Global Accessibility Awareness Day announcements, right? And what's coming with iOS 27. So it should be pretty fun. Oh, hold on, let me just keep admitting people here. All right, so hello guys, welcome. So first, let me get to it. Recording. All right. I do recommend or encourage or consider turn your voice control off during the meeting because we're going to be saying all sorts of commands, and who knows, what we're gonna how we're gonna control your phone. It's up to you, but just be cautious of that. And mainly we're going to be talking about hands-free Apple tools. We're open to talk about other stuff and comparisons, but the focus does kind of remain on Apple stuff. And after I'll put it in the chat, but we do have a Facebook private group where we're kind of communicating when these calls aren't in going on, and also that's where the video recordings and the summaries and stuff are going to be found, as well as on our website. But I want to introduce myself and our two kind of my collaborators, my co-hosts. Yeah, so I'm Ian. I have been working with Apple for over 10 years. I got to actually start using voice control about a year before it was released and help, just consult. And it was so bad not being able to share it with my friends, knowing how valuable this new tool would be. And, it was also crazy. I couldn't even tell my family. And so I had to like sneak away into corners to test voice control. But I knew how life-changing it would be. And, it's continued to really make my life productive. But I want, anyway, I live in Port Angeles, Washington. I'm a C2 3 quad. I'm vent dependent at night. I like to go on long trail rides. And I help out with the Here and Now project with Kenny too. And I also want to introduce Chad Trager, under my iPhone. I'll change your name.
Sleep. I'm using my voice control here like I'm not supposed to. Hey, I'm Chad Trager. Let's see. I'm a C45 complete since 1997. And I've been using voice control on my iPhone for 5 years now, something like that. Yep, was one of the people that saw Ian's commercial and thought, hey, that looks like I could do that. And but yeah, I've been using voice software for pretty much since I got hurt. And I live out here in Arizona. It's hot.
And what do you do? And do you use entirely voice control for that?
Oh, for work?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I work for a sports technology company. Been doing it for 20 years. And I just run a small internal support team. And I use my I use my joystick or my sip and puff control to mouse everywhere, even though people keep telling me I should switch to a different mouse. But
Yes, you should, but
yeah,
we won't go into that.
I like being able to tip back or just drive anywhere and do it.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, and use that, and I use naturally speaking for work, but I use the voice control a lot for on my phone.
Awesome. Thanks, Chad.
Yep.
And then Todd Scheresky. He is the other co-host here.
Hello, everyone. Uh, I was first introduced to voice recognition software back in the 90s. I had a car accident in 83. I'm 42 plus years after my accident, and I started using voice control on my Mac with Big Sur. I also saw Ian's commercial. I was happy about that because Nuance had just discontinued Mac Speech Dictate or Mac Professional, whatever it was. And so I use voice control on all my devices, the iPhone, iPad OS, or iPad, and the Mac. Primarily on the Mac because that's where I do the majority of my work.
And where do you work, Todd?
I work for Micron, the only U.S. memory manufacturer, and uh,
High
and
demand
yeah,
right now.
and the soft prices are through the roof, and so is the stock.
I bet. All right, man. Yeah, and so Todd, I mean, is the expert on Mac voice control, in my opinion. I don't know nearly as much as he does as far as Mac use with just voice, but he's awesome. All right. So I'm
Go to
just gonna go.
sleep.
I'm gonna go. Across the screen here, and yeah, just tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us where you're at. A little bit of experience, voice control, and anything you want to share. But Dylan, you're number one on my screen.
Oh, wow.
Give us a quick intro.
I was go to sleep. All right, turn it off. All right, yeah, I'm Dylan, and I'm a C1 complete. Happened about 5 years ago. Got hit by a semi at a red light, and I was an AMT. I make movies, so that's what I like to do when I can.
And where you out of, Dylan?
I'm out in Idaho, cold Idaho.
All right. Jim, you able to unmute?
Yeah, and Jim Cleary out in Worcester, Mass, Central Mass, 40 miles from Boston. I'm injured about 2.5 years. I'm a C3 incomplete. Uh, when I was using voice control since I was inpatient at Spalding, they taught me the basics and been, limping through it, still struggling, but I guess doing a lot better than I'd be doing otherwise. So, enjoying definitely it's only my second meeting, so looking forward to digesting more and more and following you guys, and welcome to have a group of friends in the same situation.
Yeah. All
And
right. Yeah. Misery loves company in a way here, Jim. I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah,
But all right. Well, I got glad you're here. I got to meet Jim
thank
at the
Go
you.
to
SCI
sleep.
SCI Boston meeting. I met a few
Yes, it
there.
was great seeing you, and yeah,
All right. I can mute you if you'd like. Want me to mute you?
yeah, sure.
Kenny, you're next on my screen.
What's cracking, y'all? Kenny Salvini, 22 years post injury from a snow skiing accident, C34 quad. Yeah, long time Dragon and voice control user. Yeah, known Ian for a long time. He's the one that made me start Here Now project. I blame him. Yeah, so I think that's about it. Good to see everybody.
Yeah. He's who I bounce ideas off all the time, or say also who sends me way too many calls saying, "How do I do this?" Anyway,
Yeah, I use him as my tech support. That's probably not great.
what are besties for? All right, Ian. Ian Price.
Hey, alright, so hi everyone, my name's Ian. Living in British Columbia, Canada. I have spinal muscular atrophy, which is a progressive neuromuscular condition very similar to muscular dystrophy. I've been in a chair since, well, my whole life. I've never been able to rock. Had my first power chair at the age of 3. I love technology. I own my own company, ICANN Resource Group Inc., where I am a consultant for pretty much anything you could think of, including accessible travel consulting, assistive technology consulting, and multimedia design consulting, as I used to be a web developer. I work with a nonprofit organization in British Columbia called Technology for Living, where we provide respiratory services and support, such as the ventilator I'm using. But also we have a assistive technology environmental control division where we provide smart home technology to people with disabilities in British Columbia at no cost. So it's a great organization, and through that I run the peer program, but I'm also the innovation strategist, which is a fancy title to say. Again, I'm a nerd that loves testing devices, and so that's what I get paid to do. I have a movement in my thumbs, so I am able to use a micro joystick and micro switches to move to operate my phone and such. However, I'm not very good at it. My thumbs are very weak. So for the computer, I primarily use a combination of my driving thumb and the lip sync in front of me, which is created by a organization here
Makers making
in
change.
Canada. Yes, Makers Making Change. And I love it because as one of the early testers of this device, if there is something I don't like about it, I can make a phone call and say, hey, do a firmware update and make this easier for me to use, which has been extremely helpful.
And it can be 3D printed for the most part too, which is
And it can be 3D printed. Yes. What else? I I
all right,
was
Ian. We can wrap it up. We do got a lot to
okay.
get through.
Okay. One more thing.
You're a
I was
powerhouse in the tech world. I know. And you could go on for the whole meeting about what.
okay. Okay. One more quick thing is
Yeah.
I have to say this. I'm so excited about this. I have been using Dragon since I was a kid for text to speech, and I recently switched to a program called Super Whisper, and
Okay.
it doesn't work for navigating on the computer. It's only for text to speech, and it is 100 times better than Dragon, so I
For
will never
dictation.
look back.
For dictation, it is
For
solid.
dictation. Yes.
And
What was that? What was that called
what was it
again?
called
Solid?
again?
Yeah.
Super Whisper.
Super
Super
Verse.
Super Whisper.
Yes.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah, I will
We'll have to
never
talk
go back.
about the difference between dictation and transcription because that's an AI transcription tool. So
Okay,
just for
there you go.
clarity purposes.
Thank you. Thank you. Please
42.
feel free to correct me at any point.
Yeah,
That's
me
all.
too. Me too. All right, Ian. Really glad to have you, man. Like I said, you kick some ass and you do a podcast. An awesome
Yeah.
podcast. All
Thank
right,
you.
Chris, you're up. You're up next on my screen.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris. Been injured about 6 years. I'm a C4, pretty close to complete. Still doing a little bit of work as an attorney, and yep, seeing what I can learn. I've already learned a lot from some of you.
Where are you at, Chris?
I'm in Novato, California, about an hour north of San Francisco.
Good to see you, man.
Mm.
All right, Jesse Collins. You know,
Hello, hello.
between him and Dylan, I don't know who's the higher quad here, but
You might be Dylan. You might have me beat. I can look well above my head. I don't know if you can, Dylan.
I can a little bit, yeah, a
you
little
show
bit.
off. You're like, yes.
Yeah, all
How
right, all right.
much?
Uh, yeah, I had a bicycle accident just past 17 years ago, and so like a C1 incomplete. And ever since I was impatient 17 years ago, well, okay, 16, whatever. I've been using Dragon for a long time. I still use it. And I started using voice control pretty much right as soon as it was available. Um, still working on trying to learn the most optimal way and to do things, and just some things that I don't know how to do. But it's this meetings have been extremely helpful for not just me, but I can tell everybody around. So yeah, Ian, thanks for throwing all this together. Just another aspect of your very inspirational
Shut
and
up. Shut up.
helpful aspect of life.
That's enough. Love you, dude.
Carry on.
All right. Chad, I've already heard from you. Janelle. Janelle, you're the next one. Next one I got.
Thank you, because I was having troubles with the mouse, even though it's auxiliary. So it is what it is. My name is Janelle Hovde, and I am in Portland, Oregon, and I'm part of a group called, well, Ian knows who it is, of Upstream Access, and we're a nonprofit as well, and we're all about making sure that people have emergency supplies for people that are disabled, chronic illness, or the elderly that won't be able to get out. And none of us want to be left behind. Anyway, I'm going to get off that soapbox. I've got an IT background. I'm retired. I'm old. I have an IT background. I was involved in supporting networks, and at that time, I was still building some hardware. Not anymore, but yeah. So I have a real love for technology, and I am learning by leaps and bounds with you guys, because I mean, these are things I can no longer type on my phone. So these are things, yeah. It's progression of what's happening. So like a lot of us here, right? There's a progression for some of it. And so for me, it's learning and trying to digest it, trying to understand it all. I appreciate the Facebook group and all the information that everybody's been putting up there. Todd, you're awesome. And yeah, I'm thrilled to be here. This is giving me things that I never thought I would end up needing. And well, it's like anybody else, right? I ended up needing it. Here I am. So thank you. Thank you.
Glad you're here, Janelle. Well,
Thanks.
speaking of upstream access, next on my screen is Laura Riddler.
Oh gosh, hi, my name's Laura Riddler, and yes, I do some stuff with Upstream Access. My partner is the executive director. So we do things like Janelle said, not emergency preparedness for people with disabilities, in a variety of context of ways, cohorts, and things like that. I am a recreational therapist by trade, so I do work inpatient rehab, but I also do a lot of things out in the community and have my own business. So I do anything from A to Z that is safe and legal. My goal, I always have people tell me, you're not the common recreational therapist. My goal is to help people get back to what they enjoy doing and what their joy is, and not my own. That's what I tell them. Recreation isn't just sports, it's whatever brings you joy. And obviously technology has gotten bigger and bigger. Some people in this group may think that I've known Ian or Kenny the longest, and Ian and Kenny have been people I go to with some technology questions, because I think there's never, as much as we would love it to be, there's never one organization or one person who knows it all and all the different systems. But I'm going to throw a shout out to my friend Todd Scheresky. And I wish he was on camera so I could see him blush. I'll try not to cry. Todd and I grew up together. I had a
What?
Todd. He was the pastor's son. He is 4 years older than me. He's the age of my oldest sister.
What?
We grew up together in North Dakota.
What?
Absolutely true.
Oh my.
Wow.
I have known Todd, visited him in the hospital after his injury. I was 14 years old.
Holy cow.
I had met somebody with a spinal cord injury.
She brought me a milkshake.
I brought him a milkshake. I said,
Brought you a
"You
milkshake."
want?" He told me what he wanted from McDonald's. I was so proud. I had my money from my newspaper route. Went and got him a milkshake, brought it back, And he said, "Oh, just put it over there." And I was like, "Dude, what's up?" My mom told me that he wasn't able to hold it or anything. So that was my first meeting somebody with a spinal cord injury. So over the years, I'll try to cut it short. Anyways, hugs and love to Todd and his family. He knows this. And his wavy, sexy brown hair.
Yeah, that was many years ago. It's
That's
pretty scarce right now.
yeah. But Todd, I started my career out in Hawaii, my internship at a hospital there, and was at a conference, and somebody from Idaho started to mention this guy, and I'm like, oh my God, is that Todd Scheresky you're talking about? And so Todd has been, over the years, my original computer technology guru. The world, all my friends.
Just try to help when I can.
Just trying to help when I can. That's Todd.
What
Anyway,
a full circle moment there. Jeez,
Wow,
guys.
that's
full
cool.
circle moment. So anyways, I known Ian and Kenny as well, and looking forward to always learning more. Like I said, I cannot hold on all that information, and I love connecting people with the right people so they can get the access to the things that they want to access and need. Thank you.
Woo, that's a
Woo!
lot, and here we got Laura went into rec therapy, and probably Todd was a bit of an influence on that. So.
Oh yeah, yep,
Yeah, wow. All right, thanks, guys.
yeah.
Ray, you're next on my screen there.
Ray Newby. I'm a complete quad, got secondary progressive multiple sclerosis, which has left me legally blind also. I use push control, voice voiceover, whatever. And I operate my mouse with my joystick. For my chair, that's how I navigate that. Then it's great to listen to you guys talking about all the ins and out and little intricacies of voice control. So thanks. Nice to be here.
Glad you're here, Ray. Glad you're here, man. All right, Conrad, you're on my screen next. You want to take a second?
All right. So I'm Conrad Reynoldson. I have Duchenne muscular dystrophy, and I am a disability rights attorney here in Seattle. And so I run a nonprofit law firm called Washington Civil and Disability Advocate. And so we're focused on making public places and websites accessible and compliant with the ADA. And then we do some legislative advocacy as well as kind of education work in the community. And so I was just looking to hear about how people have managed with Apple products. I've actually never had an iPhone, but I am curious.
Right. And
yeah.
Question,
So I thought
Conrad. Do you use the voice using an Android, I'm assuming? Do you use the voice software there, voice access stuff?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I tend to use my tablet a lot more.
All right. And you can type just a little bit on that?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I just plug in a mouse and then have it mounted in the van. And so I can use the tablet while we're driving.
All right, sweet, man. Well, you'll hear a little bit about what voice control offers too.
Nice.
And thanks for joining, man. It's good to see you. All right, next on my screen was going to be the last, but Ronell just jumped in. And Misty, this is my full circle moment because Misty was when I was in the hospital 18 years ago, she was the very first peer mentor to come into my room and visit me. And yeah, good to have you, Missy.
Yeah, thank you. And look at you now. I'm so impressed.
It's all that influence. It's all that positive influence you gave me, Missy.
Yes, I am very impressed with you. You're just the best of it at everything. And now you're starting to paint, and I'm like, come on, really? God, just showed me up on everything. It's okay. No, but your painting's awesome. So I'm Missy. I'm from Modesto. I'm a complete California. A C12 complete quad. Technically vent dependent. I am a diaphragmatic pacer usually during the day, and I'm a vent at night. Let's see. I do use an iPhone. I originally started off with an Android, and that kind of sucked for a long time because, it was just like, oh, hey Google, read me my text, something like that. It wasn't very great. Or hey Google, text this. So I'm on an iPhone now, and I use the voice control with that. I don't know what I'm doing, but okay. Cancel. Um, cancel. Mouse grid. Yeah, but anyway, so I do peer mentoring quite a bit. I like to do advocacy. Yeah, I've just kind of been down for a while. But this year, I've broken my leg. I've had a few different things happening here. Yeah, so it's been I had an abscess on my butt, so I've been in bed for since the beginning of the year. It's not great. It's never fun staying in bed, but yeah, once I'm up, I'm gonna get going and doing some more stuff out there. Like Ian Price over there, I did get one of the I can't even remember what it's called now.
The
Um,
lipstick.
Lip sync, yes. I was there like one of the original ones as well. I went to Google, they built one for me. They did the whole build-a-thon. It was pretty cool. The only problem with that is it's too short. So I'd have to sit up really far to get to it.
The straw is too short, Missy. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, just to reach it in general, I'd have to sit up really far to get to it.
Like the
So
arm. So the arm that
yeah,
holds.
the arm is too short. So
Yeah. So you just need a different arm. Okay.
basically, yeah, and I just never kind of reached out to look for it. But yeah, but I joined this group because you sounds like you guys are awesome. So
Well,
thanks for welcome.
it sounds like you're a dragon user as well there with open
I'm
mouse
actually
grid.
just use the voice on my computer. I don't even use it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay, nice, nice. All right, glad you're here, Misty.
Thank you. Can you
All
mute me,
right,
please?
you got it.
Thanks.
All right, Ronell, you're our last one to be introduced here before we dive into stuff. How the heck you doing today? And tell us a little bit about where you're at and your experience with VC.
Good evening, beautiful people from sunny South Florida, although it's like 7:30 p.m. right now. For those of you who have not been acquainted, name's Ronell. I'm a C4, C5 quad. This year will make 10 years post spinal cord injury. Longtime iPhone user. Been using the voice control since it came out in 2018. Love it, except this new iOS 26 is driving me crazy, as I've mentioned in our last, three sessions. But yeah, so although there's a lot of room for improvement, it is still great. I'm very appreciative that it's here. And shout out to Apple and shout out to Ian for putting together this group, for bringing it together. I have tried a few of the shortcuts you guys have given me and given me ideas the last few weeks. And, I plan on making many videos showing some of the shortcomings of the texting right now. I think is the worst part of the voice control, as many of you guys can, I guess, echo for me. But outside of that, I'm good.
Well, and we're gonna get to that at the end. It's always good to just voice, all right, what the heck are our biggest complaints? What do we hate about this feature? And yeah.
Just
Ronell's a great complainer on those facts. I love that about him.
very much so. And I love the mic. I'm a podcaster, so I talk a lot. So you'll have to mute me whenever you want me to stop talking.
All right, dude. Glad you're here, man. Thanks for joining.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. So first, let's this is meant to be just collaborative, right? I mean, none of us know it all. And but together we know a whole lot. And there's more than one way to skin a cat, right? There's multiple approaches to everything. And I'm gonna share some ways that I do some things. And everything about this is more about just efficiency. And right, let's be as efficient as possible. And let's use tools to to make our lives that much easier. So let's see. First, I guess for anyone newer to voice control, please be sure to use the voice control tutorial. It's just a valuable introduction to the feature, and even if you haven't used it in a while, sometimes it's a good refresher of things that you might not have remember. And some of the language that we use, I just want to be clear on that. We use words like elements, and elements are really just buttons or links, anything clickable on your screen. Right, so that's just an element. And then labels. Labels are just the way to identify an element, right? So it could be a number, it could be, the name messages or mail or phone. So just so you know, those are things we are going to be using. And I also really want, this is something I was hammering, it's so dumb, but show commands. I think that's really valuable command to use, just because it first brings up your command list, but also it just brings you straight to the voice control menu in settings. So if you want to make a quick adjustment, just say show commands, and you're there at the voice control menu, and you can make any changes you want to. And a quick way to just remember a certain command you're trying to remember. And then, as we mentioned already, we do have that forum for voice control on Facebook. We were going to do Slack or Discord, but not as many people were active. There. And I guess last two things I want to mention there is I want to emphasize the importance of having two input methods. Switch control paired with voice control can sure be powerful, or just some way if voice control fails that you can basically reset your phone. Siri will often do this, but no, it is just valuable. Sorry. I try not to say that word. I guess that's another thing that I want to bring up is that we're going to use the words HS. And so that means, hey, SIRI and OS for open SIRI. So HSOS, just so we're not, activating everyone's phone when we're using those commands. And I guess the other thing is, right now, especially with iOS 26, it seems like we get a memory issue or a buildup of cache, and it just stops responding as it should. And a quick restart, just turning voice control off and on, you can do that with HS. So it's a really quick way to just. I even have a Siri shortcut. That actually just says, restart voice control, and it just turns it off and turns it back on, and away I go. But I do find, like, especially after a few days of using it or heavy use, that you do need to kind of just reset that. And, who knows what's going to happen with iOS 27. But now I want to, go over some of those other stuff that I was mentioning. Now, what I'm going to be going over is some of it's quite simple and obvious, but we only know what we know, and I want to go over everything for the newer users, and I won't spend too much time on it. But so for like device specific commands, right? We all should know, you can easily just turn volume up and down, right? Turn up volume, turn down volume. You could use, HS to say set it to whatever percent, but not with voice control. One thing I don't even use this very often is just to turn on and turn off silent mode, right? And that just for notifications, right? Notification alerts. I always have my caregivers move my phone from my chair to my bedside, and they just press the button when they do that to mute it. And then, often I'll be going in like to the control center to turn it off when it's easy enough to just say turn off or turn on silent mode. So that's a good one. Um, Rotate the landscape portrait. So many of us can't move or touch our phone. So I don't know how useful that really is for much of us, but I guess it's good to know that it's out there. And I guess the last couple on device specific is, we all should know about lock screen, right? Lock screen's a pretty easy thing to use. Open Notification Center is also one that I think is really valuable, because it's going to keep your notifications up without completely locking your screen. I use that so much I actually have a custom command. It just says Easy View, which actually opens up Open Notification Center. Just because I use it so much, and that's so many syllables to say. I guess the last little thing is just, always know you can say hang up when you're on a phone call, right? It's a lot easier than trying to hit the number or, just say hang up. Okay. And then I want to go into some of the accessibility commands. You can say where I mentioned this issue with restarting voice control once in a while. You can say turn off via voice control, but you can't say turn on because then it's off. So I'm not sure how useful that really is, unless you're just trying to turn it off. But one thing I'm using is I'm using an Apple Watch, and actually the Apple Watch alerted me a couple of years back that I had AFib, and I ended up actually having a stroke a year ago because of this, and I wish I would have taken it a little more seriously. But you can always turn on and turn off watch mirroring. And that just puts your watch right up on your screen, which is really simple, and that I use that maybe for a couple. I don't use it very often, but if I want to follow some of my health stuff, I might do that, or sleep, or sleep stuff. Usually you can do that through your phone anyway, but for making some of the adjustments, it is nice to turn on and off watch mirroring just so your watch pops up on your phone, basically. Um, you also have turn on and off eye tracking and head tracking. Okay. Now it's great that these options are available. Eye tracking is a newer feature. I've found that you need really good stability and angle, for really efficient use. And then you're also often dealing with dwell, right, which can kind of slow down your productivity. You don't have just a quick click. Um, yeah, I just have. So there's head tracking, and to be honest, I found head tracking's been around for a while, and it works pretty well. If you want to have kind of basically a mouse on your screen with your head, just know that you can turn that on and turn it off rather simply with voice control. I guess, something was brought up to me recently was if you enable either of them through switch control, you have to then go back to item mode to disable them. Otherwise, people are looking for head tracking or eye tracking, so you can turn it off. But if you just go to item mode, or I guess it's gliding cursor, that'll bring you back to your standard interface there, or at least overlay. Switch control, right? Just turning on and off switch control, that can be handy at times. And there are so many options, and it's almost Ray. I bet you could speak to this better than many of us, but voiceover, right? I mean, there's so many great um, voiceover options for the vision impaired folks in there, and I'm not going to speak to those just because I don't utilize them, and I don't. But I don't know, Ray, if you had anything to comment on the voiceover options that you find really useful.
Gets a little tricky with labels.
With labels, really?
Yeah, it's kind of touchy because I can say show numbers,
Yep.
but it won't read them back to me. So that doesn't do me any good.
What if you say show names? Will it read the names back to you? Name label?
It's same kind of thing. It's hit and miss.
Really?
It's not a consistent feature that I found. If I mess with it for about 3 minutes, I can generally get it to work, but I don't remember how I did it.
Yeah, is it like refreshing the window? Is it refreshing voice control? Voiceover?
I tried to do each one of those separately, individually, and they don't always seem to work. But if I just start smattering them together, somehow something starts working.
Well,
so really, it's just that the only issue I really have with voiceover.
Well, one thing about voiceover is it sounds like there's some big overhauls coming with the next iOS, and so hopefully some of those are resolved then, or more problems will exist. But we'll be talking about that once we dive into iOS 27.
Very nice.
One thing I'm using a lot of, and I never even really thought about this, was let's say you're looking at a picture, you're looking at anywhere, and you're always going to say zoom in, right? And zoom in is really just a pinch out, right? That's all it really is. And and that's generally what I would do. But if you use the turn on zoom or turn off zoom option, oh my God, I think that works so much better. And then you can say zoom left, zoom up, zoom right. And it just works better than pan left or scroll left or swipe left, or I don't know. I think it gives you more options. And you can also say, minimize zoom or maximize zoom. So you get to full screen or you get to, maximum zoom, or just increase and decrease zoom. So it's just a little different than, pinch in or pinch out. But I'm telling you, if you are, using zoom in and stuff just to look at pictures or looking at whatever, consider using turn on zoom. I think it's a better option. And I just never really utilized it until I was actually putting an agenda together for this meeting. And I'm like, damn, why haven't I been doing that for since the
I
beginning?
do have a
So
question about Zoom. I
tell me,
was
Jesse.
wondering, is there a way to change how much the Zoom will zoom in or zoom out?
Absolutely, yeah. So right, that's what I'm saying. You say turn on zoom. Um, first you could say maximize zoom if you want to zoom in pretty far, and then just say decrease zoom, and you'd get back a little bit. Or you start from, the full screen and you say increase zoom and it just increases it a little bit. Um, or you could say
Okay.
zoom in, zoom out, right? And those are going to be just pinches. But it is a different, um, I don't know, action, for zoom out versus, minimize zoom, maximize zoom.
All right, I'll give that a shot. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. So that was an interesting topic. Um, there's a lot more, um, regarding like assistive touch and assistive vision commands. Same thing. I'm not gonna go into those because I just don't have the experience. If anyone, uses those a lot, please jump in. But I'm just not real familiar. But I do want to really talk about. Oh, Ian. All right. Oh, sorry. My bad, man.
Okay. Quick question. So, wait, there's a feature I can't remember. I've never been able to get it to use where you can make it noises like with the clicking noise or
The
thing.
mouth sounds. The mouth
Yeah,
sounds. That's a switch control command.
it's
Yes.
interesting. I've never been able to get that to work on my phone.
Yeah. No, that is pretty touchy. And yeah, that's a great thing to dive into deeper. So when I had my stroke, I forgot that existed, and I introduced that to Apple, and I even made YouTube videos describing how to use it, and and I was making them, and that kind of taught me how to use it after the stroke when I forgot all about it, which was crazy. But uh, I haven't dove back into it much, Ian, since it was first released. And I know that just some mouth sounds or different sounds worked better than others. But I also know, it definitely works because sometimes I'll enable those as switches, on top of my regular switches and maybe have them redundant. So maybe it's a tap or tap or click or select, I guess. And just randomly noises will happen. It'll go off unintentionally. And I'm like, well, why did that even happen? And realizing that it's because I have, these sounds, these noises as switches. And so, yeah, I mean, my bet, I'd have to experiment with it because it's been a while, but I know that some of them just are more recognizable than others. And so it's just figuring out which one of those is. Is it the, is it the or mean, there's so many weird different sounds, right? And you can play with those. And if you guys don't know what we're talking about, it's a switch control feature that basically can turn a sound into a switch. And then you can assign an action to a sound. It's a pretty cool thing. I wanted to be able to use it when I was on the vent and the cuff was inflated and I couldn't speak, but I could still somewhat interact with my phone if there was an emergency.
Um,
So it's a cool feature, but like Ian is saying, it's not sure it's super reliable right now, or we need to dive into it more. All right. That answer your question best I could, Ian. But we're all good there. Okay. I want to talk about vocabulary just for a second. We touched on this a little bit last week, but I want to reinforce it. And with what's coming in iOS 27, it might not be as useful, but no, right? Vocabulary and show commands, those are similar things, but vocabulary, like my nonprofit, Ian's Ride, Whenever I say that, I want both words to be capitalized, right? And so I'm going to put in there Ian's ride, and it's going to be trained so that it's capitalized to both words. Other ones I do is, let's say, here and now project, right? I want an ampersand in there every time, and I want all words capitalized. So I'm going to vocabulary. I'm going to add here, ampersand, now, project, and have them all capitalized so that when I speak that, it's always the same. Or my van, I have a Honda Odyssey. I call it the Quadacy, right? I want Quadacy to be spelled right. And so, or, I use a cough assist a bunch. I say coughalate. I wanted coughalate to be in there. Whatever. I'm just saying unique words, maybe unique names. Just be aware that, vocabulary is there and you can use it for, some interesting things. Um, all right. The last thing I want to talk about before we dive into, what's announced in at GAD is some Apple Intelligence stuff. And mainly, I don't know if any of you guys are using um, or have even tried the command Open Visual Intelligence, because it's not even in the command list. But Open Visual Intelligence, just brings up your screen, your camera, your front-facing camera, and gives you an option to search or ask a question about the image in front of you. And so, you can be looking at a plant and say, search, and it'll tell you, oh, did an image search? This is clearly a, ceanothus or whatever. Or you can do it to a car. You say, what year is this? What color is this? How much would this cost new? How much does this cost to use? Whatever. I mean, it's just valuable to have it so simply integrated with voice control to just say open visual intelligence, and then just click search, and it brings up whatever the heck you're looking at. And so just know that's available. And I think that is a more powerful tool that probably we're not utilizing as much as we could. But there's just so many uses. But Apple Intelligence, right, is pretty integrated into all the apps, and it sounds like a lot more is even to come, with iOS 27. But you have things like any dictation, right, messages, notes. It's just always an option to use AI to modify the text, right? You could, you just clean up this text, make this text, into a limerick, whatever you want, right? You can, it's up to your imagination, but it's nice that those things are integrated into any dictation place, basically, where your keyboard is available. I guess photos, right? It's also nice to have these smart edits that it'll do, or a background remover, and so much more. So it's nice they've introduced that, and it's pretty easy to use with with just voice or switch. I don't know if you guys have other ways you're using Apple Intelligence you want to share, please do. Otherwise, we should dive into the Global Accessibility and Awareness Day, which was this past Thursday, but all the announcements came in on Tuesday. And so they kind of caught me off guard, but I was all excited to read and and think about all these new features. And so Ray, I mean, what will be important to you, I think, is that voiceover and magnifier are having first even more ability to kind of describe on-screen information, or your surroundings, like if you're using a Vision Pro or something. But um, I look forward to seeing what comes with voiceover. But with voice control, right? So what they've introduced is we're getting natural language. Okay, so what the heck is natural language? And it sounds like, and June 8th is when developer beta will be out for this, and we can dive right in. But it allows you to now describe an element, okay, or a button, right? So you now can say, click the purple icon with a line through it, or click the word random, or I mean, again, you can describe something on your screen, or click the left eye of the individual on my, or long press on a map in some place, wherever. I mean, who knows what this is going to open up for us and what problems it could create. But it's gonna, it's gonna be interesting, and it might make things a lot more. I think especially with third-party apps is where this is going to be beneficial. Things that lack elements already, or at least lack labels for elements. Okay, so many third-party apps aren't really considering the accessibility aspect, and they just don't have buttons where they're, that are interactable through switch or voice. They don't have elements, attached to those buttons. And so, yeah, I mean, it basically allows every button to have a flexible label, basically, and anything you can describe, you should now be able to click or select or long press or, I mean, yeah. All right, Ronell, what's up, my man?
Just skepticism, I guess, of
Yeah,
how I'm just thinking like some of the apps on my phone, and I'm thinking how it would be able to recognize each item. Like, does it scan the app? Like, if it's all visual, like I can see it doing like an icon in the app, but in the app, if I'm not saying okay, press the play button, or I'm not saying press the circular button with a chevron pointing to the right.
it's all
That's
speculative right now, man.
right.
I don't think any of us know, but right, I mean, those are the questions we have. And what if we're describing and there's multiple images on the screen with the same thing? Is it going to then like give us a number for each one and then like let us narrow it down that way? How are they going to use AI to really improve our experience here?
Yeah.
And I don't know, and I'm skeptical too. I mean, how much is going to screw some things up? I don't know. Um, and and yeah, I mean, I'm
And you said it
assuming.
rolls out on June 8th?
So, developer beta is released on June 8th. I don't know what that
June
means.
8th is the beginning of WWDC,
Yeah,
Worldwide Developers Conference.
they'll announce
And that's
everything.
that's when they release new versions of all their OSs.
Yeah, and that's when they
31.
release access
No, it's not to everyone.
to
It's
beta.
only to developers,
Yeah,
and then there's some special groups that get access to it. It isn't generally available to everybody else until there's a public beta release.
which is usually only a few weeks after, a month or so, a
I
month
think
or
it's
so.
around a month.
Yeah, about a month later. So you're looking at like July 8th, and anyone can download the beta, for better or
But
worse.
I will advise people to
Yeah.
not do this on their primary device. Always use it on a secondary. Ian likes to be a gambling man, and yeah, I guess he's had good luck with it, but I've had stuff bricked, and so I always use it on a secondary device.
Yeah, and I do that only because I do have two phones. I have a work phone and a primary phone. And so if the primary phone, which I just am able to catch more bugs on because I'm using it more, does
Yes.
fail, I've always got that backup phone just as an emergency, an
Yeah,
emergency.
that's the benefit if you have multiple devices.
All right, Ian. See you next time.
31.
Uh-oh. Well, let's see what else I got. Uh-oh. So, yeah, Todd, I wanted you to speak to this a little bit. And there's some accessibility reader adaptations coming coming with iOS 27. And my understanding is it's basically a screen reader that has just been improved even more and can recognize different formats and such in Windows and different.
Yeah, I have a big uh solution architect.
So
I have a
explain what accessibility reader adapt.
accessibility reader is the ability to read text to you, either from a web page or from a text document. And
How is it
Apple's
different than VoiceOver?
I don't use VoiceOver, but my understanding with VoiceOver is very synthesized and doesn't sound very natural.
Okay.
Um, the Mac has been able to read things for quite a while, but it was hard to, if you start it, if you stopped it early, you had to go back to the beginning to do it, and it was very synthesized. With accessibility reader, it reads things more naturally in a more natural voice. So it's way better. And so I'm able to cover a lot more documents because, after working all day and I got to come home and I got to read some other stuff, it's nice to have it read to me instead of having to look at the screen even longer. So I am excited. I mean, I use it through Tahoe, the Mac OS 26. I haven't used it on iPad OS or iOS, but I believe it's there. Um, but what's exciting is Apple hasn't let it go. The one coming up through the announcement uh, is going to be able to you'll be able to read articles in other languages, and it'll translate it, you know, verbally to you in your native language. And it also works better with documents, technical documents that have more than one column. So it handles things
All right,
much better.
question, Todd. I mean, so real use scenario. Okay, let's say, we're up on a news document, a news website, right? It's got a bunch of text on the screen. First, I mean, is there a voice command to activate it, or is that a custom command we'd have to create? I mean, what does that look like?
On macOS, there's a keyboard shortcut that I use to kick it off. I looked in the iPad OS commands document that I created, and I did not see
Okay.
anything for activating it there. But
So I
I
believe this is actually, I did see it in iOS. I looked it up today and I did see it. I haven't experimented with it, but I know it's there.
right. So I think you would want to, if you want to kick it off by voice, you probably have to create a custom command.
Or a Siri shortcut or something. Huh.
Siri probably could bring it up, and then you could use voice control to navigate it because it does have a play button. It does have a
Okay.
rewind. It has the ability to skip sections.
And speed
So
up and
I
slow down and that too is
yeah, I think that's available as well. So
okay.
it's been a big benefit to me. So I'm loving it.
All right, well now it's
Is
uh,
that available on iPad? Did you say, Todd?
I think it's all available on all the iPad OS and also iOS.
it's definitely there, Jim, and then you can
What
go
is?
into your settings and do a search for accessibility reader and
Yeah.
you'll find it there. I
It's
just haven't
definitely in the settings section.
yeah. Go to settings and you just type that in a search, accessibility
Yeah.
reader. It'll bring it right up. I I just can't speak to it, but that's what we
I'll
got.
have to look and see how you activate it in iPad OS. Um, that's probably the second place I would use it besides the Mac.
Yeah. I use the iPad a lot. Okay, that could be handy.
I'll look it up, and if I find anything, I'll post it on our Voice Control Talk Facebook
Facebook.
group.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Todd. Yeah.
Well, and just staring at a screen all day. I mean, sometimes it is nice to
It
just
does. I mean, it saves me. Working full time and looking at a screen all day. In the evening, if I want to read some articles, it makes it so much easier
Yeah,
to
I'm
have it
looking
read
at
to me.
that. Same here. I just want to close my eyes sometimes and listen to something.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Well, no, that's available, and it's going to be getting even better. Right.
News, yeah. Yeah.
So another interesting one it was announced is they're generating subtitles for videos. Love that. I'm always watching video subtitles in my videos, and it'll just automatically throw them in there, which is great.
Yeah,
But
that's really cool.
the real one that everyone is talking about is right that you now can control your wheelchair with a Vision Pro. So if you have a Vision Pro, with your eyes, you now can fully drive your chair.
Now I have
No.
a Vision Pro, but that would be the last thing I do with my Vision Pro.
Sounds scary.
I I am
Wow.
I would rather use voice control of the Vision Pro than try to use eye tracking because I guess I'm not patient enough. For some people, it may be perfect, but
Well,
for me, I just not patient enough to keep my eyes steady and do stuff with like.
you think about, you're putting this thing on, you use your, your entertainment, to watch a video. Maybe you're doing some work on it. Now you're driving your chair with it. I mean, is this thing just like permanently attached to your face at this point? I mean, you're using it for everything, and I'm just not. At first, I was like, yeah, what if I'm like looking off at a bird and I, drive off a cliff or something? But
Yeah.
watching the videos, I mean, you can see that there are like very specific boxes that you would look at for up, for forward, left, right, and then like a diagonal. But I mean, speed. Now, the thing is, there's gonna be users out there this is gonna be very valuable for. Right? There's no
Absolutely.
there's no doubt that there's people that this is gonna be useful for. But I think for many of us, it might not be the option we jump to. But it's cool. It's cool that they're making this available. So
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I jump in for 1 second? For
no,
the
no,
previous one
please
that Todd
do.
was explaining about the I don't remember the name of it, but that would help read like articles and such.
Yeah.
Accessibility reader.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, accessibility reader. How about I'm an avid book reader myself. I have the Kindle app and hundreds of books in there I like to read, and every now and then the eyes get tired. So first of all, does that kind of put Audible out of business a little bit? And secondly, does it move like turn pages for you? 'Cause, I mean, not to say you know already, but these are some of the questions I guess that come to mind because it's not like the book is like one scroll, an endlessly scrolling
Yep.
document until
Yep.
you get to
Yep.
the end.
Mhm.
So those are two things I was thinking about because I would love it if it was reading for me or to me while I'm at night, and then go to bed right afterwards. But I don't know if it would turn the pages or if it could access the Kindle app.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know that. I primarily used it on web articles, and it
Hmm.
does,
Hey,
highlight
Sam.
each word,
I me some tea.
and so you can follow through the document. But I haven't used it on uh, a book app.
The thing
You
is,
know,
it sounds like it works well with voice control, right? So you could have adaptive reader and voice control. And so, hell, if you have your eyes closed and that reads that first page, I mean, big deal if you have to hit one voice command to flip a page. I mean, at least it still would make things easier. I'm sure you could customize something to be clicking pages for you, but you might have to figure out how long it takes for it to read or something a page and do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
the way to check it would be probably in books because that's an Apple controlled application.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
so it might be integrated there, but I really haven't checked it there.
Yeah, and there is different. I mean, are they all page turners, or I don't think any of them are just long scroll or any ebook options. But yeah, interesting. All right,
Thank you.
where else am I at here? Oh, just some like little ones that they said. They're now making Dwell available with Vision Pro. I don't know why that wasn't there from the start. Um, they're making so if you are hearing impaired, that hearing aids can really transfer between devices really easy between an iPhone and an iPad. You can for the TV app, you can get larger text for your subtitles. Again, I don't know why that wasn't there all the time. One thing
What
I,
you
I
talking
do
about?
I do like is they have for hearing impaired or deaf
Something that
folks
legs up.
is name recognition, so that when someone is speaking to them, it will tell you who the heck that is, or that that someone
Yeah,
is just
that's good.
identified that someone's
Yeah, I give you a
Thank
notification
you.
that somebody's talking to you.
yeah, well,
Put me back in
that's
those.
great.
Actually,
Just that
lower the
you've
table
been
a little.
addressed. But those are the main things I want to talk about. And now I want to kind of just open this
And
sucker
it's
up to you know, what are some feature requests we wish we had? What are some problems that we hate? What are some exciting things you're looking forward to? And I don't know, what topics do you want to talk about? Or I can keep rambling, but I know Ronell could fill this time with questions if
I was
we
waiting for anyone else.
if we leave it to him.
Oh, so I've got one question.
All right.
So I use just the numbers for
Labels, yeah.
labels for every command, and I've noticed that like if I have an iPad for probably more than a year, it gets a lot worse to it gets a lot worse for it to hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
So I didn't know if that was on my end that I could figure out.
So Dylan, one thing I would say is whether it's your iPad or whether it's the current iOS, I think a lot of us are having an issue where, all right, Conrad, thanks for joining us. See you next time. A lot of us are having issues where it just seems like it's not hearing us, it's not listening to us. And before you go buy a new device, do try just resetting voice control. Just try it, turn it off and on, and see if that makes it respond better. Because many of us have found that all of a sudden makes it listen better. Because it's like, why aren't you? I mean, I'm screaming at my phone when I usually don't need to, and then I restart voice control, and all of a sudden I'm able to use it in normal.
Yeah, I'm doing that multiple times a day, and it's helping. Multiple times a day, I'm finding to turn it off and on. I don't know.
Yeah, feels like every hour for me, man.
Yeah.
Well, and it does show the value of just creating a Siri shortcut, right? It's really easy to create a toggle with voice control, and it just, reset voice control and just turns it off and back on, and there you go.
So now I would say, okay, go ahead, Dylan. I'm sorry.
I'll just saying thank you. You're good to go.
Oh yeah, see, I was gonna kind of piggyback a little bit on his because my issue is, and I think I mentioned it on our first session, but it's seeming like the noise cancellation is almost inactive on mine. Where let's say I'm on Instagram and I'll have the volume at maybe like 15%, like it's relatively low.
Yeah.
And now I'm just trying to swipe or move through or go back, and it's not hearing me like at all. Or even when the phone is ringing, I don't keep my ringer super high, but I can't answer it. Whether I use the voice command itself to select the number, or if I use HS to tell it, hey, answer. And similar to you guys, I'm either yelling at it or it just can't hear me over the sound. And I'm like, the sound is minimal, if we're on looking at Facebook Reels or an Instagram Reel.
And this is after you've recently restarted, right? This is after you've just
I've restarted the phone, restarted the voice control itself. It's just not hearing very well.
I run into that same issue.
Yeah, I think many of us have. Go ahead, Chad.
Is that worse? I was going to ask, like, okay, so I've been having like the same problems, and it got a lot worse with 26.5, just like the last like 2 weeks ago or something like that, week and a half. But I almost think there's like two separate issues because the HS problem, that at least for me has been an issue for a few. I don't know if that it's always been on 26, but I think it's like the last few releases where I don't think that's like a noise cancellation. I just think sometimes it just won't work.
What about OS? Do you use that too, Chad? I mean, do you use OS? Do you use OS as well, and do you have the same result?
It's sometimes that'll work, but then sometimes it's not just SIRI. It's also the voice control because you can scream at the top of your lungs,
yeah, I know.
and nothing will happen. It's like it's just totally locked.
Yeah,
Screaming never works.
Screaming never works. It'll even register what I said. Like if I'm telling you to answer the call, because I like to have it put the confirmation words on the bottom, so it'll say answer the call, and it'll just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that, and then it'll keep ringing, and I have to repeat the command like 2 or 3 times. Sometimes I'll miss phone calls. Sometimes it'll do it in the end. But it just doesn't respond.
HS so for you previously was I always use HS to answer and hang up. right? Because it's always been just totally reliable. But then, yeah, there's something. One of the releases recently, it just got like where like maybe a third of the time, it just flat out does not work. Like it just doesn't. Once that ring comes in, you're just dead.
Like
There's
the good thing is to end the calls, you can tell it to, H up. I didn't want to do it now, so it doesn't end this call. And it'll do that if your voice control is on. But then that goes back to the same issue that was happening before. Sometimes if there's someone speaking or something going on in the background, the noise cancellation won't work. So it won't hear the commands I'm giving. Or let's say I'm trying to
Yeah.
press option 4 on the phone, it's just not doing it
Well,
anymore. And that
and
was one of the things I was
yeah.
excited about.
Is noise cancellation fully functional with voice control, or is that just with HF with SIRI? And that's what I'm not sure of. And another thing, and this is a request I've been making, is that AirPods it only works through the device. It only works through the iPad, and if you have AirPods on, it's never listening through those for voice control. It only listens through the device, and I feel like often, even if it would just listen through AirPods um, or something like that, it would, even if there's a third party.
I made the same request.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that
they
would.
work. AirPods work so good with phone calls.
I know, I
They
know.
should be able to be used as the microphone, and because that's the challenge with using the built-in microphones for the iPhone or the iPad. It's just hard to compete with background noise.
It is, and then I worry that because we need to find out for sure that voice control does have the noise cancellation, or your voice could be the noise it's canceling, right? I mean, it could be you using those commands, and that's what it's recognizing as background noise. See you, Kenny.
what kind of phones do you guys have? Because I like that was I mean my iPhone 12 like was slow as hell, it was old, but I could not believe sometimes how well it would
Yeah,
pick up my voice when I couldn't even hear my voice coming out of my mouth. And with my 17 Pro Max, it's great as far as like the power and it's
Go back.
fast but the mics, frankly, they suck. They're they just have they're just a problem. They just don't work as
no.
well.
Well, I mean,
Go back. Sorry, mute
I
me,
think
please.
I think a big question, is to find out or if not, it's a feature request, is that voice control needs to be integrated with the noise cancellation if it's not already. I mean, we need to ensure that it's recognized only our voice and
Agreed.
not other things. But yeah, I just don't know for sure that that's the case right now.
Oh, and I'm sorry. Could you kick me out?
You got it, Dylan. Well,
Thank you guys.
good seeing you,
Appreciate
man.
it. Yeah.
I've never heard that request before. Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
See you next time.
See ya.
See ya.
Never heard that request, huh? Yeah, see, well, that's because everyone wants to stick around with you right now. They hear my voice too much. They're like, yeah, get me the heck out of here, buddy.
Bro.
Yeah, it is.
But like I said, I've been trying to recreate some of the issues, especially when texting or the inaccuracy of the labels. But it's hard. Whenever you want it to recreate itself, that's when it
I know,
doesn't do it.
exactly. That's the
You
problem,
know,
right? If you're going to report a bug, you better be able to recreate it. And that's,
I'm gonna have to try and like use the note because I even tried it on the notes app and just try to dictate it in there, but
I
it
know.
wasn't exactly the same because I'm like, okay, at least if I'm texting on WhatsApp and text messages, it's very similar. But then like I've had issues. I was doing a bank transaction and now it's duplicating labels. So I'll have a number 7 up top and then on the keypad as well. And not
Yeah,
realize it because you're looking at the keypad, so it's
yeah.
just throwing you off.
Okay. Well, and you're talking with Apple now, right, Renault? Got you connected with them?
Okay, yeah. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. Thank you. I was supposed to email you back. We'll chat about that later. But it's similar. The request is to try and capture the issue. So what'll happen is by the time you've set it up to capture the issue, you've either made your voice control go to sleep or restarted it. So now it's not doing the bug anymore.
I
So you're
know,
like,
man. I know. Trust me. I mean, it's yeah, or it's like all something I could repeat right then, and then like 2 weeks later, when I'm really talking to him, it's like I'll be damned if I cannot recreate it. It's like, and I've not updated anything, and but, but yeah, I mean that is a big thing, right? If we're going to be reporting and escalating problems, they got to be things that we can all agree are an issue and that we can recreate together.
and I answer because I use it so much for dictation. Those two will remain to be the two worst. One, the inaccuracy of texting and editing, and then just the improper labeling. Like even right now, I'm looking at my Zoom call, and there's like five numbers just floating in the air.
That
I don't
aren't
know.
associated with
Yeah,
elements.
completely not allowed, not associated with anything else. So I know again that's third party, but then as a tester, you don't know which one to, I don't want to say blame, but to correct because you know the assistive technology is having bug issues, but then the app in whatever program or website it is isn't responding well. So you're not sure which one to point the finger at. So I
Yeah.
guess it's
Yeah.
easier to point it at Apple right now.
Well, it is, and then there are opportunities that come around where we get to really speak to straight developers, or Apple's having more relationships with certain third party companies, and they are able to really request these changes. Or depending on how much time you want to spend on fixing these, you reach out to the damn company themselves, and
Mhm.
but how much traction you're going to gain on that, I don't know. Just you know.
Is there kind of a Ian? Is there kind of like almost a pause right now because of the next big thing coming? Nobody wants to invest a lot of effort into fixing things that may totally go away or may be different or
What I found is
It's a mix.
if you report a bug on an old OS, they won't fix it now in the old OS. They will fix it in the new OS. So
Should carry over, or should carry over to the new OS. Yeah.
yeah, at this point, once the revision level gets to 5 or more, they're not going to fix it in the old stuff. It'll be fixed in the new stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hoping because I've seen it work well in a previous one, and then the new one comes in, and that's what's working. And that's why I'm scared to keep updating under 26 because, like I said, it keeps disappointing. Let's say it's great. Again, I'm very grateful for it, but there's certain areas where I was so happy with a certain functionality, and then it'll go away. Like, well, not necessarily the assistive technology, but even the layout of the Photos app. It keeps changing. I'm like, I just got used to it. I just found out how to, customize it so it works to my benefit. And then they changed it again.
But you know what, Ronell? Isn't that just a part of disability? Being our bodies are changing, we're constantly dealing with something new there. We have to fix our wheelchair. Something's wrong there. We got to constantly, fix and adapt and work around. It sucks, but man, I got to admit that's just part of our daily lives. It seems like adapting to
You
change.
want something to be a little consistent. And of
I
course,
agree. I'm
that's
with
just
you,
part
man.
of the
I'm with you.
updates. And
Yeah.
it's cool to, that's why I like groups like this where, we can bounce these ideas off each other, not just, painstakingly, gripe about it. But it's just like, okay, cool, this is going great. Like I said, even some of the meta apps, I'll open the app and it'll be working fine. And then I'll close it and come back to it later in the same day. And now it's not working. So it's like, you're doing so good.
I
What
know.
happened?
I
What
know.
changed?
Well, and the problem is, we want advancements to continue to occur, but for those advancements to happen, change has to happen, and that messes with other aspects, and there we are, and that's why you're connected with Apple, and why I'm doing it is, because we have to freaking deal with this so that,
Yeah.
at least we can create a better experience in the future until the damn thing that we just fixed, is broken again. But,
So now I'm sorry if I
no.
monopolizing the time, guys. How is there a difference in reporting bugs between iOS and the iPad OS?
They're pretty similar, but there's definitely differences, right? And so, when I do report bugs, I certainly, am specific about what operating system I'm using or what device I'm using.
Well, if you use feedback assisted,
It
it
makes you,
asks you what you're using. So you could be very specific.
yeah.
That feedback assistant is Apple's ticketing application, and it's used by developers and anybody else. So you can specify exactly where it is. You should bring it up and go through one just to be familiar with it.
Anyway,
Where do we find the feedback assistant? Sorry.
use Google, man. Apple
Oh,
feedback
I thought it
assistant.
was like on our phone. Okay.
No, it is. It
You can
is.
use
It
it right on your
is.
phone too. Yeah, it's right on your phone.
Yeah, you could ask Siri to launch it or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll look for that later
I
on then.
could I can only tell you how to get to it on macOS.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, but
it's available in app, and it's also available as a web page. But it's best to use the app on the device you're having issues with.
so here's what I got to mention there though is people are filing bugs through Feedback Assistant in huge volumes, and there's only so many people who are reviewing these, and sometimes they just don't get to them in time. And Renell and Todd and I have direct access, particularly me, have very direct access to Apple, and sometimes we can make change faster by just reporting it straight to them rather than filing a feedback ticket, or file the feedback ticket, get it over to me so that I can just say, hey, this is a priority, please, take a look at this ticket so that we can get this resolved. um, but
Yeah, I don't have that access yet, but we're working on it.
yeah, but it's still good to know, and maybe that is something I should keep in like the housekeeping, just so that people do know they can report bugs always straight to Feedback Assistant.
What I found is that if you could reproduce it and record it, they're more apt to fix it. Because I've had the developers reach out to me, you know, without even having another channel, and they say, okay, yeah, we fixed this. It's coming up in the next revision. So um, if you could video it, record your desktop, either it doesn't matter if it's an iPhone, iPad, or a Mac. That's the best way to get to them.
And it has to be reproducible for you to do that. And
Exactly. Not everything is.
yeah, yeah. And just so you all know, I mean, if you are trying to record your screen, you just go to your control center, and you have to hit the add, and you have to add an icon, add whatever, and you just have to add screen recorder, and then it'll make it a button. Then you have to long press on that button to enable voice, so make sure you can hear your voice, and then you can just turn
Yeah,
it on.
that's key in the mobile OSs because it's off by default.
It is, yeah, and that doesn't help much if they can't hear what you're saying and you're trying to report a voice control bug.
Exactly.
But no, I'm really wondering what we're gonna be getting with this dynamic language, and we'll be able to talk a lot more about it next month after we've experimented a little bit. But yeah, I hope it doesn't, I hope it doesn't push us back at all.
I'm hoping it's not an all or nothing thing.
Yeah,
Like it's the complaint I have, that we were talking about yesterday with HS being like lingering around and trying to get rid of her
yeah.
Mhm.
So
sometimes,
that's a
but
big complaint.
yeah, like similar to that, it'd be nice, especially initially if it's something, if it's something that's easy to turn on and off and use in case you are getting like a lot of, because I imagine at least at first you're going to get a lot of like false positives when you're trying to say something on the screen, until we kind of get used to how to use it.
And I bet it's going to be something we can toggle on and off, right? I mean,
Yeah, I hope, yeah.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, and we'll see. I think one thing it might be also useful for is kind of dragging and dropping. Sometimes it can be tricky, and you're using grid to do that sometimes. But to be able to really tell it exactly where you want it, you know, by describing it on the screen, even if it's maybe a word. You're trying to drag a highlighted word or sentence to another part of the document, right? I mean, I think that could be interesting. We'll see.
I mean, I would say this even for editing, there's another part of it that doesn't work. Sometimes the command is so long that the phone will stop in the middle of it. Like if you're telling it to highlight a certain sentence,
Yeah, yeah.
it'll quit out before you've actually told it what to do or something like that. And
Yeah.
and
What I found with the latest version of the OSs and the processors, you have to talk quite fast
Yeah.
because
You do?
if you pause, it's not going to do it. And so you have to adapt to it and talk quicker.
What else is frustrating right now is I don't know if you guys are finding this is select that or correct that.
oh my
Often,
God.
going like, not doing what the heck you want. Definitely not doing the last word or phrase you said, unless you're saying specifically the word or phrase you're trying to select or correct. It's not doing it as it should. And then when you try to reproduce it, I'll be damned.
I'm gonna take it a step further. What it'll do, if I say select Ian Mackay, it won't actually select it, but it'll type the words select Ian
Oh,
Mackay.
geez, that it
And
does
then
happen.
if you got a number in your sentence, like it spells out TWO, and I want to remove that, I select two, you can't do that.
Since they correct too. No.
Yeah.
So what you would do then, I think, is I would try to say correct and then the word before or after, with to, and maybe you'd be able
Okay.
to,
Yeah, I have tried that as well.
Have
Like
you tried
with
dictating and saying numeral two?
yeah, or using spelling mode.
Oh, I didn't know that. So, say that one again, Todd.
You could say numeral two.
Well, and there's also
It's
used to
a
be
it's a
say
lot more consistent now too.
and
It
press to
seems like.
actual, right? Or used to be or no, yeah, wasn't there's something you could say with to actual. I think they might have removed that.
Okay. One thing I know that doesn't work anymore, the inserting an actual colon into the sentence. So
Colon?
if yeah,
What?
so if I'm saying like these are the following colon as the punctuation, it won't do it. It'll type the word colon. But if you say semicolon, it'll put in a semicolon.
So I haven't had that problem. I use colon all the time. That's interesting.
Oh no.
what
See.
about parentheses? It always
Open,
spells
open,
the word
well, you
parentheses.
have to say open parenthesis or close parenthesis,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's not consistent for me.
Yeah,
Well,
even
okay.
open parentheses will write open parentheses a lot
Or
of
I would
times.
select a phrase and then
Yeah.
say parenthesize that.
Okay, you see, actually recently,
Parenthesize that.
here's a positive one. If you go through your the actual commands that are already set there, look through your editing for quotations and parentheses. There's actually a command that's already set there that makes it easier. I forget right now. I was just exploring after one of our sessions, but
Say quote that. You say quote that, and whatever selected is
Yep, yep. And it's if you look at that iPad OS commands document, you can see what the
yep,
command is in there.
yeah.
And that
Or
works in iOS.
capitalize that, or I think I don't know. Dragon, you can say parenthesize that. I don't know for sure.
but again, being careful because it's not always accurate now. Like I'll type a word and say capitalize that, it'll jump to a completely different word. Or if I'll say delete that, it'll usually delete the last thing you did. Now it'll
Yeah.
delete something mid sentence. So make sure you guys are double checking your paragraphs because I have all sorts of words randomly misspelled or broken in half before you send it out.
Yeah. All right, guys, our time has come and gone, and I appreciate you all because I certainly always learn something from you each time we do these, and I will be putting the whole video and the transcript and the summary up on the website, and I'll also put it on that Facebook group. But you guys rock, and Hope you can come back in June, where we'll be talking, with experience a little bit of some of these new voice control features coming out. So
Where did the announcement? Is it on the Facebook page, Ian, where I can read about it? About
so
these new.
yeah, if you go to the Facebook page, it does have the Global Accessibility Awareness Day announcements on
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But
Okay.
then on June 8th, that's when, you just go to Apple
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
do their
yeah.
keynote, right? I mean, that's where
Right.
they announce everything. So,
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But one thing I should warn you is
uh-oh,
the reason they do the accessibility stuff early
early.
is because the keynote is packed with
Yeah.
other things. And so they don't ever talk about accessibility there, or very rarely.
Well,
So
they did. I know one year when I got to be up on that stage.
yeah. That was a big deal. That they had an
Yeah,
advertisement for that.
that was
I'm
big.
glad you didn't run into the lake.
All right, everybody. Have a have a great rest of the week, month, and we'll talk soon.
Thank
Good
you
night,
very much,
Anything,
everyone.
Ian. Thanks for
Bye, everyone.
everyone.
All right.
anything on chat, Ian, that I can capture?
Okay.
I haven't opened it.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
All
Hang
right.
up.
See you, Misty.
Have a good night.
Let me check for you, Jimmy or Jim.
Yeah, let me see. Yeah,
I appreciate everyone. Thank you.
Mouse grid.
take care.
Mouse grid 9.
No, Kenny was talking about,
9, 9
dragon
more
for.
click.
You want me to kick you off, Misty?
Enter.
Oh, she's off. Yeah, there was a link
Okay.
a link to our Facebook group. Kenny was laughing at Dragon for DOS,
Oh,
which was way back.
just
I
the
don't,
link. Yeah, any links or anything? That was it.
yeah, I don't think there's.
Nothing key. Okay.
So there was Chad did put in a Reddit link. What was that for, Chad?
Oh, that was that actually, I'm not sure that actually works anymore, but the problem that we were talking about with the microphone where it would just get so bad you could get like you just couldn't get it to respond. It was like
Yeah.
a keyboard feature you could turn off and it just seemed to kind of fix it.
Yeah, I'm having a
Yeah.
lot. I can't get out of YouTube sometimes. It just doesn't hear me. So
Oh yeah.
I'm trapped. But anyway, okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
try it. I mean, not to discourage you, but like I said, it seemed to be working real well once I made that change, and then 26.5 is, unfortunately, it's been a step back in for most things, but I don't know. They'll probably surprise us with the next one, and
In one
everything will
way,
work again.
in a positive or negative way, we'll see.
Yeah. It's just kind of roll
Jim,
the dice.
I'll send you the document too
yeah. Okay.
for the notes.
Thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
all right,
Good
guys.
night.
See you
Good
next
night.
time.
Take it
Yeah.
easy, guys.